Three professional wrestlers are fighting over a champion's belt. From the given figure, shows the horizontal force each wrestler applies to the belt. So as viewed from the, kindly correct that one below. So the forces have magnitudes F1, which is 250 Newton, F2, which is 50 Newton, and F3, 120 Newton. Find the X and Y components of that force on the belt and find its magnitude and direction. Okay, from the given problem, the F1 is slanted with a given angle of 53 degrees. And if you're going to check the angle also here, magkakaroon tayo ng another value of angles. Although pwede naman gamitin ito when you solve the problem, but make sure that you will check on which quadrant is your location of your arrows. So for example, this one is going to the left, so meaning your value there is negative. And if your Y component for your F1 is going upward, that one is positive. Okay? So rewriting the drawing, so for the F2, we has Y component of 0 kasi wala naman siyang movement upward and wala din siyang movement downward. So we have the F2 here. So for your F3 has a 0 of X component because the F3 is not moving to the right and also to the left. So downward lang siya. So that is only for the F3. So for the net force, if you're going to draw, we will get the value for the Rx and the value for your Ry. So when you get that one, you will have a resultant force which is going to the left. So dito siya. Kasi malaki yung force natin dito. So by visual analysis, mahina yung force pa right, mahina yung force pababa, pero mas malakas yung force natin dito. So usually, ang magiging force natin is hihilain niya yung dalawa na to. Although hindi siya ganun kalakas, kagaya dun sa una. Based din dun sa angle na makukuha natin. For your F1, so let's find the X component of F1. So that is 250 cosine 127. So your 127 is this one. So you can also use the 53 degrees cosine 53, but because this is going to the left, you should have a negative value. So negative value, so kailangan yung tignan. Baka kasi kinocosine 53 nyo, nag-positive yung sagot nyo, mag-iiba na yung sagot nyo. Cosine 53 yung ginamit nyo, tignan nyo yung image, dahil pakaliwa siya, negative yung value. And yung Y natin is going upward, so that is F1Y. Sine 127. You can also use the 53 degrees. That is the same. Kindly calculate. So sine 53.
199.65.
Okay, so 199.65 you will get. Tignan nyo, pareho lang siya. Sine 127 and sine 53, pareho lang na positive yung makukuha nyo. Okay, kasi pataas naman siya. Okay. So kung negative yung nakuha nyo, pero pataas siya, may mali dun sa makukuha nyo dito. So lagi nyo titignan yung drawing. So tapos na tayo sa F1. We have the X component of F1 and Y component of F1. We have for F2. Okay? So 50 newtons, that's 50, that's given. Ito. Cosine 0 kasi wala naman siya movement. So 50 newton. Kasi cosine 0 is equal to 1. Okay? For your Y component, that is 50 newton multiplied by your sine 0. And because sine 0 is 0, you will get 0 newton. So wala siyang movement pataas, obviously, to the right. So we have a path. So we have 120 newton cosine 270. So you can get this one by from this here. So that's 270 degrees. Okay, so 120 newton. So cosine 270 is 0. So when you multiply by 120, you will get 0 newton. So for Y, we have 120 newton sine 270, and you will get a negative 1 value. That's why we have negative 120 newton. Okay, so dahil naglagay na ako ng ano, para nakikita kong active guys. Okay. So for the net force of your R, so we need to solve this one kasi nakuha muna natin yung mga X, Y values natin. X components and Y components. And of course, when you add all those X components and Y components, you will have a different value for those axes. So meron tayong X nito, ito, which is the Rx, And we have the y component of the total, which is the ry. So eto siya. So for your rx, that is your f1x plus your f2x plus f3x. So the value of that one is negative 150 plus 50 plus 0. So we have negative 100 Newton. So obviously, our Rx is going to the left kasi negative yung value na nakuha na. So let's solve for the Ry now. So for Ry, that is the sum of your F1y, F2y, and F3y. So F1y, F2y. So the value is 200. The next one is 0. And we have a negative 120. That's why we have 80 Newton. So next. So let's solve for the magnitude of R. So kailangan na nating masolve kung ano ba talaga itong value na to. Kasi meron na tayo dito. So ito siya. The formula for that one, I think some of you are familiar with this one kasi they solved the given assignment even hindi naman talaga siya na-discuss with the same example as this one. So we have the resultant R is equal to the R squared is equal to Rx squared plus Ry squared. So Rx squared plus Ry squared, that is negative 100 here, okay, squared, plus 80 squared, square root, you will get a 128 Newton.
128.06, sir.
So to find the angle, we have a formula which is the arctangent Ry over your Rx. So that is your tangent theta is equal to Ry over Rx. So arctan 80 Newton over, you will get this one dito. Although negative 39 is acceptable during your exam. Here's an example with a given acceleration from forces. So a worker applies, this is from Newton's law ulit. A worker applies a constant horizontal force with magnitude 20 Newton to a box with mass of 40 kg resting on a level floor with negligible friction. So what is the acceleration of the box? So from the given drawing, we have a force going to the right, that's positive. We have a weight going downward and weight is force, but we have a given mass of 40 kg. Okay, so we also have a normal force upward. So let's look for the solution. So ano daw yung acceleration na kailangan natin? Sometimes no, the given, hindi nyo naman kailangan isolve lahat yung mga unknowns to just solve the acceleration. So let's solve for the x and y components. For x, we have positive x, that's going to the right. That's max. So your 20 Newton going to the right is basically your mass multiplied by your given acceleration. The y acceleration is 0 kasi tinutulak natin going to the right and this one is not moving upward nor downward. That's why our y is 0. Your acceleration is basically the summation of your forces from x, which is 20 Newton, divided by your mass, which is, ito lang siya, transpose lang tayo, divided by 40 kg is equal to 20 kg meters per second squared over 40 kg. So magkakaroon tayo na makakancel yung kilogram natin. So may iwan yung meters per second squared. So that is 0.5.